Welcome to the Entrepreneur Podcast with your host, Anthony Estrella. Get it? Entrepreneur? Come on! The Entrepreneur Podcast discusses the good, the bad, and most importantly, the ugly of what it's like being an entrepreneur in today's day and age. So join us for some fun, laughs, and straight up shop talk.
How's everyone doing? Welcome back to the Entrepreneur Podcast. I am your host, Anthony Estrella. Happy New Year to everyone. This is the first episode that I've released of the new year, and to be honest with you, the first episode I've released in quite a while. So I'm really excited to, get back into recording and releasing podcast episodes because it is something that I do enjoy doing. And it's something that I found quite a few people are interested in listening to. So I've kind of promised myself, hashtag New Year, New Me, new episodes. So, the goal is to try to release as many episodes as possible, still trying to figure out a consistent schedule. But I think it's going to be, a good year in regards to the amount of content that we're going to be putting out. In this episode, I want to just kind of talk to you guys about why I like entrepreneurship, why business interests me, and maybe just talk about some of the current things I've got going on, along with, where I started in my entrepreneurship journey. And hopefully you guys do enjoy what there is to kind of discuss. And maybe, you guys can let me know what you think when we do post this episode on social media. Let me know, maybe what your thoughts are and, what you've got planned in regards to wanting to start a business or what some of your concerns are. I'd be happy to assist. I'd be happy to help and just kind of see where it goes from there. So one of the things, that I'm really focusing on right now, I've got two current projects that I'm working on. I know the last time I was recording, I was talking a lot about eBay drop shipping. I'm not doing eBay drop shipping at the moment because my account did actually get shut down for drop shipping. And just kind of like I explained to you guys before, drop shipping is technically against eBay rules and policies, and there were things that I could have done to prevent it. So that was something that was just kind of an error on my part. I am, however, still drop shipping on Amazon. I'm not so interested in scaling that at the moment, but it is probably within the next couple months going to be something I do regain focus on. And the reason why is because once the sales do start coming in for Amazon, it does tend to become a little bit more difficult to keep up with. And right now I've got two projects that I'm working on where one is I'm relaunching my Little Prince website. So for those of you that don't know, Little Prince is a website that I created where we'll basically take your children's artwork from preschool, from daycare, wherever that might be, from grandma's house. We'll take that and we will print it for you on custom products. And so we launched that probably about a year ago. But there were a lot of technical things that we were dealing with, and so now I've teamed up with Jenny Spahn, who's helping me design my website. She's amazing. I love her design work. And I just love her work ethic altogether. So she was definitely someone who I wanted to reach out to in regards to relaunching the website. So hopefully within the next couple months, maybe even sooner, we'll be able to relaunch that site. So that's kind of where a lot of my focus has been. There's a lot of technical aspects to it because every single product, that's being sold on the website is not a pre-designed product. It's actually a custom product that, each individual customer is going to upload to and design which and whatever product they'd like. So with that, there's a lot of, 3D modeling. There's a lot of mapping with, having to make sure that you guys can see a 3D real-time preview of what your product is going to look like when it's printed. So, there's just a lot of things that we didn't do because, to be honest with you, we just didn't know. But now that we've done, more of the research and kind of dug in, and now that we have a little bit more financial stability to build out the website, I felt that it was a good timing to do so. And in addition to the Little Prince website, I'm also doing custom printing as well, but more business to business, more local, and it's not necessarily tied to just children's artwork. And really where that came from was I was on my buddy's podcast, Frank Downstar, which is Downtime with Downstar. So I was on his podcast and we were just talking about, different business ventures and things of that nature. And he had mentioned to me, like, why don't you, start like your own t-shirt printing company, or why don't you start doing that yourself, in regards to being able to put out custom products to different people like companies. And I said, well, in all honesty, it's not something that I really thought about, but the more I did think about it, the more I understood that all the resources were in front of me to go ahead and move forward with that. So the past few months, I've been just kind of working on, trying to get additional business to business clients, to try to, print t-shirts for them, and not just t-shirts. There's other things that we can print as well. I just did embroidered beanies for my uncle's barbershop, and I'm also doing a t-shirt for him as well. So it's just something that I know there's a need out there, and it's something that I do have the ability to. I do have the resources in order for me to which allows me to help people come up with those printed products. And so I've been doing that, and it's been nice. I'm potentially working with a couple restaurants, maybe even a liquor store. In addition, I'm doing shirts for some personal friends. So this is something that is kind of reignited, kind of that entrepreneur spirit in me. And not to say that the drop shipping didn't or doesn't do that. I definitely don't want to say that, because drop shipping on eBay and drop shipping on Amazon has really helped me, get through some of the financial struggles that my family and I have been going through the past year or two. So, it's not that. The thing is that with this Little Prince website and, with the custom printing, it's something that I have to constantly go out and prospect. I have to prospect businesses. I have to prospect potential clients. Have to figure out ways to get my website in front of an audience. And that, to me, like that grind, and just kind of like that, always having to go after something constantly. There's the past few nights, my wife has been really upset at me because I haven't been sleeping. Because I've got to put quotes out to clients. I've got to try to get pricing. I've got to try to do logo design for some of my clients, who don't have those resources. And so it's just a lot of back and forth correspondence that I've been doing recently. That's just kind of been just keeping me up, just because my brain is going. And I love it. I really, really, really do love and miss that feeling. I don't miss being tired, but I miss the grind, to be honest with you. And in all honesty, the last time that I really had, that spark and that fire was when I was in college. And, when I was doing, when I started the No Drop. I know I mentioned the no drop a few times on a few other episodes, but for those of you who don't know what the no drop is, the no drop is a product and a company that I invented when I was going to college. And the reason that I had started this company was because I wanted to know what it was really like to start a business and to start a company from idea to inception to bringing it to the market. And I wasn't so concerned about how successful it was going to be from a profitability standpoint. Really, it was a learning experience for me. And it was real time. It was real life learning experience. And I really did get that, from this product. But, with this, when I started this company, I was working a 40-hour job. I was taking 4 or 5 classes. I was doing, 12 units full time at Arizona State, and I was trying to invent this product. So I came up with this idea of this product called the No Drop, which is essentially a silicone shower caddy, which prevents your, shampoo, body wash, really just any other bottles that you have in the shower. It prevents them from falling off of the shower ledge. And in addition to that, we kind of designed it to where you can hold, your toothbrush, your loofah, just other essentials that you might use in the shower. And, really what this product was, it was never going to rust. It was, you were never going to get mold. There was never going to be, any issues, with this product in the shower. Right. And so I ended up, just kind of coming up with the idea. We created a few different prototypes. I was prototyping it myself, actually in Phoenix, and it was a pain in the ass, to be honest with you. But once we started getting a little more traction on the product, I wanted to be able to, really sell this product at a pretty, valuable price, or a price of value, I should say. So what I ended up doing was I was researching different manufacturers and suppliers overseas in China. And so this is what kept me up just all night long, just, talking to raw silicone suppliers, talking to different plastic manufacturers who can actually create the product itself. These were things I was up until 2, 3 in the morning when I had to go to work the next day, and I had class after work, and then I would come home and just kind of, repeat it. And it was something that I loved. And that's when I really knew that, business and entrepreneurship is something that I wanted to continue. And the reason why I knew that was because the product wasn't, it wasn't necessarily profitable. And I probably spent close to $10,000 in inventing the product, manufacturing it, taking it to trade shows, trying to bring it to market, selling it into, local stores. So there was a lot of time and effort that went into it, all for it to not be, as successful as one would hope for, in inventing a product. But aside from all of that, the feeling that I got from doing it is what drove me. And that was something that I could really see myself doing, really no matter what the product was. And so once I decided to kind of put the no drop to rest, just because it was no longer financially feasible. I was spending a shit ton of money, and just really trying to market the product, and just the revenue was not coming back. And it's very likely that the product just wasn't as viable as I hoped. And that's just really what the truth is. And I was okay with that, because the stuff that I learned was just absolute. I would have never learned that in the classroom. I would have never learned that through studying for a test. And so that was the true reason why I wanted to do it. And through that, I just fell in love with the chase, with the drive, with with the just the grind of it, right? It just kind of changed it changed my outlook, I had different insight to know after doing the no drop. I really found out that things are not that difficult when it comes to starting a business, when it comes to finding suppliers, right? I was actually trying to find suppliers to manufacture a product. There's a lot of people just looking for suppliers, especially with drop shipping, where they're just trying to find suppliers who manufacture a product that they can sell, right? So the amount of difficulty was obviously a lot higher, but it still was not that hard. So that's why it's kind of funny to me when I hear a lot of people, especially when it comes to like wholesale drop shipping, who are like, hey, what suppliers, or, how do I find this supplier, or how do I find, this supplier? And it's like, well, you just got to look. And that's what I ended up finding out. You just got to look, and you just got to really put forth the effort and the research. And so once I did that, and once I started seeing results, I was like, this is me. I've always been, a hustler. I've always been somebody who, I used to, buy and resell car stereo equipment and cell phones on Craigslist. Like, that's really how the hustle started, right? But starting a business, running a business, that was what I was seeking. And so once the no drop just kind of subsided, if you will, I started utilizing a lot of those suppliers that I had talked to in the interim. I started utilizing them to see, like, hey, what products do you offer? What is selling best out of your factory? And what that really kind of led to was a lot of these manufacturers at the time, this was back in probably 2011, 2012. Jesus Christ, that was almost 10 years ago, making me feel real old right now. But, during that time, that's when, the weed pens, the Snoop Dogg pens were starting to get really, the G pens were starting to get really popular. And so I was importing a lot of different, like herb pens from China, and I was reselling them on Facebook. I was reselling them on eBay, which you are not allowed to do. But I was making good money, and the products were selling. So, then it started clicking. Hey, it's not up to me, to validate what products are currently selling. The factories are manufacturing particular products at such an extreme volume because they are selling. So that's when I just started looking up different products that were selling, different manufacturers that can provide those things, and then things just kind of started moving more seamlessly as time went by, as the research started to come together, and I started learning about different industries. So one of the industries that I ended up getting into after the herb pans, because you can't sell them on eBay, was I started looking into vapes. Vapes was really popular at the time. It was just starting to become like a breakthrough industry. Everybody wanted it. Items were selling extremely fast, especially the items that were hard to get. And the cool thing is that a lot of the actual manufacturers were in China. So it's not like you were buying knockoff vapes, right? Because the manufacturers of a lot of the more popular brands were Chinese brands. So it was just up to me to find either the manufacturer or a distributor of that manufacturer that can sell the vapes to me to where I can import them. So I was probably buying anywhere from, I don't know, $500 to $1,500 a month worth of merchandise. And what I was doing with that product was I was going into vape shops and I was selling them to vape stores, and they, I was like, it was just amazing that I just bought these and I was like, I'm going to sell them. And I was just like, I'm just going to door to door this shit. And that's what I did. I went into vape shops, and vape shops were like, hey, as long as you can have this price and you can have this product, I have no problem buying from you. And so that was my goal. That's what, again, started keeping me up again at night, was the hunt, finding the supplier with the quality products at the lowest price, to where I could become as extremely profitable as possible, but also gain the business of a lot of these vape shops, who maybe don't have sustainable suppliers right now. So it was just a constant go. And I loved it. When you're, 22, 23 years old, it's not so hard, but, being older, it's difficult, having a family, having a child, those are things that, those thoughts kind of start to fall to the wayside as you're more concerned with, how do I raise my child? How do I be the best dad that I can? But one of the things that I started seeing was, if I want to be, the best dad that I can be, then I feel like there's things that I've got to do, what makes me happy. And that was business. That was entrepreneurship. And in addition to that, it was additional income. And so that's when, I just started kind of thinking again, like, hey, this is something I got to get back into, right? Because I did stop for a while. It was really hard, that there was, because I didn't have a lot of capital. There was times when, for instance, I was importing a ton of fidget spinners, and I was importing a ton of like those the cell phone fans, that the little fans that plug into your cell phone charger, and what had happened was I had imported some products that were licensed, and I obviously didn't have the licensing right. So when they had hit customs basically ransacked the entire shipment, and kept a lot of stuff. But the stuff that they let me keep, the problem was that they had destroyed a lot of the packaging. Some of it wasn't really, I wasn't able to sell it, right? So it's like I lost a lot of money on that. And because I didn't have a lot of capital, this was all upfront capital I was putting up. It just became difficult when those types of things happened. So I decided that I wanted to, just kind of not take a break, but I wanted to figure out, like what was the best way to go about things. What was the most cost effective, the most lean way, to go about things. Although the items were profitable, it wasn't always feasible from a time standpoint, right? Because when you're dealing with trendy products like fidget spinners, certain models of vapes, you're having to scour, various suppliers, which takes time. It takes days, maybe sometimes even weeks, because you're trying to get particular pricing. And what happens is, as that time goes by, those quote unquote trendy products are now going out of style. So by the time your shipment comes in, by the time you figured out everything, by the time you figured out how to sell it, that product may not be the hottest selling product. And so now you're having to hustle these products because your money's on the line, right? Like, you've already paid for these products. This is inventory that's sitting. This is, money that you're losing every time it's sitting in the box. So that became kind of difficult too, right? If you don't have the money to lose, if you don't have the money to spend, it's kind of hard to keep up, with the times. So that's what was kind of difficult about the trendy products and the vapes. Although I was obviously able to get rid of everything, I wanted there to be a better way. I wanted there to be something that was more sustainable, more predictable. And that's really when drop shipping, kind of came into play. And the reason why, because number one, the startup cost was extremely low, which was very, very appealing to me at the time after, having to put up my own money over the last, few years to try to start and run businesses. Drop shipping appealed to me for number one, the low startup cost. Number two, you don't have to hold inventory. So not only was there a low startup cost, operating costs there wasn't a lot of overhead. There wasn't a lot of overhead because you weren't, having to store inventory of things. Like, I was selling barbecue grills. I was selling bed sets. I was selling chairs, so imagine like having to store that stuff. That's a lot of overhead. That's a lot of cost. With drop shipping, you don't have to do that. And so that's why it is appealing to me. But I'll be honest. The thing that bothers me about the drop shipping community or the drop shipping industry, however you want to put it, is there's a lot of people who expect you to do it for them. I don't think that they're true entrepreneurs. I don't think that they're truly invested in running a business. These are people who are more interested in a get rich quick type of deal, which, let's be honest, really does not exist. And I know a lot of them think that because of, all these ads that you see on YouTube, all these courses, all of, these screenshots of people making all this money. And I'm sure that those people do make pretty good money. But there is a lot that goes behind that. But what that's done for these types of e-commerce industries is it's, kind of provided this fallacy that, you can get rich as long as you invest $500 and, maybe get a couple VAs, and within 6 months, you'll be making $20,000 a month profit. There's a lot of people who really do think that happens with little to no effort. So when it comes to, drop shipping and the amount of inquiries that I see online, or that even come my way, it's really people expecting you to do all the work for them, put up the cost, and help them essentially make passive income on a month-to-month basis for little to no money. So that's one of the things that I think is extremely dominant, in e-commerce. And again, that's just based off of the fallacies, that have been created. But, with drop shipping, I've also met a lot of great and genuine, individuals who really do care about the industry and who do care about helping people, create success, right? Not doing it for them, but helping them create success. And there's a small handful of people who do really want to put forth the effort to create that success for them, for their families, for their future. And that's what this podcast is for, right? A lot of my friends love the business things that I do. They're always like, so many of my friends are so open to supporting, and just trying to help. And it's great, right? And, with that, I want them to be a part of it too. So I try to, kind of tell them about drop shipping. I kind of try to tell them about this venture. But they're just not interested. And that's okay, right? They're just not interested in business or not interested in entrepreneurship. And so that's why this podcast for me is a way to kind of get out a lot of my emotion. It's a way for me to kind of vent about what I'm going through, but also try to push that, kind of try to almost motivate you guys to, if you do like business, if you are interested in entrepreneurship and you are listening to this podcast, that's what this is for. I know there's a lot of people, who are home and they're just kind of, wanting to figure out different ways to come up with extra income, or, they do want to start a business, but, just don't know how to go about it or too scared to go about it. Right. I really hope that, they might listen to a podcast like mine, if not mine, and really just kind of get that motivation to at least start, at least try. That's really what's most important, right? The biggest thing that you can do or not do is just sit back and do nothing. That's the worst thing you can do. I know you've all heard the saying, you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. And it's extremely true, right? And it's valid. And I know that there are a lot of people who want to come up with different ways. And here's the other thing. One thing that I haven't mentioned yet on any of the episodes that I've recorded is that as I scour the internet, as I scour, different industries to, try to get into, social media, what's working, what's not, the more I come across just so much talent. There's just so much talent out there in the world. I'm pretty amazed at, some of the things that I see out there on social media, right? And even if you've got a talent that's something as simple as, maybe you're an artist, you're a certain type of artist, like maybe you like doing wood burning or something, maybe you like sewing, maybe you like knitting. Those are all different things that you love, you enjoy, you're good at, that can potentially be turned into a business. And those, I wish I had that kind of talent, because for me, I'm like, man, what do I want to do? What's profitable? What's selling? What does the market look like right now? Right. Whereas if I had some sort of talent, I could sing or, I could, whatever it is, I could do that for other people, get paid for it, and love doing it and be good at it, right? Not everybody has talents. So that's what makes you such a commodity, when it comes to, different things like people being an artist or people being able to make, stockings. I bought stockings from one of my friends who likes to sew for Christmas. And instead of going to Walmart, I bought the stockings from her. They were handmade, and obviously paid her for them, and she obviously made money from it. So it's like just little things like that are what I love seeing, right? And I understand that it's not for everyone, but it is for me, and I know that it's for enough people that if I do talk about it, people will be inspired. So it's just, it's just something that business is something I love. Business is something I am extremely passionate about it. I don't know that I can say that I'm good at it yet. Only time will tell, or only revenue will tell, whatever your definition of success is. But I'm really excited for what the future holds. What this relaunch of Little Prince holds. What the custom printing holds. The thing that really drives me and intrigues me about the custom printing is most of it is business to business. And my background, for those of you that don't know, is I come from the staffing industry, where I was a territory manager and had to solicit our services to decision makers of organizations and different businesses, such as, the CFOs, sometimes the CEOs, whoever was in charge of making the decisions for staffing. That's who my target was. So what the business to business custom printing allows me to do is now I get to go on that hunt again. That's what I enjoyed. I loved it. I loved, meeting with new organizations, meeting with new people, seeing how people run their organizations. It was just something that I enjoyed doing on a day-to-day basis. And I feel like, with the custom printing, it's something that kind of brings that back into my life. So I'm excited for, what 2020 is going to bring. I know that this podcast has not been as frequent, as some people may have anticipated, or hopefully some people had hoped for. But I do plan to release more episodes. Hopefully we'll have some people on the podcast who can talk about their entrepreneurial journeys and just kind of provide you guys with different perspective instead of always hearing my voice all the time. Not that you have heard it often, because I haven't been releasing episodes, but again, that will change in 2020. I do hope that you guys enjoy what it is I have in store for you, because I do think that 2020 is kind of going to be a turning point in what I've been going through as an entrepreneur, and I'm really excited for what the future holds. So hopefully you guys will continue to listen so you can come along that journey with me. But I hope you guys enjoy this episode, and again, there will be a lot more frequent releases, and we'll be doing some longer episodes as well. So for now, I hope you guys all take care. Thank you for tuning in. Peace.